honey.
I'm Michelle Ruiz, and I'm here with Barbara Seymour Giordano, and we are working on making presentations and giving speeches and public speaking. And we just reviewed a presentation I just made, and I wanted to share the tips because a lot of us entrepreneurs find ourselves in situations where we do public speaking, and Barbara's got such wonderful information that I wanted to make sure we share it. So why don't we talk about, we're talking about presentation when you first go up and body language and all those kinds of things, so go ahead.
Oh, this is an important one. Well, they're all important, right? The first is entrances and exits. Now, that sounds simple. We all know you're supposed to enter wherever they designate that you're supposed to enter and leave where you're supposed to leave. That seems pretty basic. But the show really begins the minute you enter the room, because people are going to come up to you and say hello, and you're going to be competing with, in your mind, oh wait, what, now, do I remember that part of the speech?
In fact, and we were talking, even as they're introducing you, you're already quote-unquote on.
Oh, right.
Right, okay.
So just consider that the minute you enter the room where you'll be presenting, you're on. You'll be sitting down, most likely, or standing to the side, and then you'll be introduced. And when you're introduced, it's important to remember that your energy be up and that you are already in presentation mode, okay?
Right, and so one of the mistakes I made that you pointed out to me was I went up and I greeted the person who introduced me, but I had my back to the audience, which I thought was a really insightful moment, right? A point that you made. So your recommendation to me was?
So when you enter to the audience and you go and you greet the person on stage, while I'm sure every single one of you, as Michelle does too, has a lovely back, the audience...
Rear end.
You're more than just a rear end, okay? The audience connects through the eyes and through the face. So if they can't at least see the side of your face, the show hasn't really begun. And so there's actually dead space because they can't see the person shaking your hand, right? Because you're body blocking them, and they can't see you.
Right, so to clarify, so I went up to the person who was introducing me, my back was to the audience, I greeted that person, and what you recommended was that I actually shift my body so that we're sideways,
in alignment, right? So we want to enter the stage and make sure that you're on the stage and facing, much like we are right now, at the very least. When you shake the person's hand, give me your hand here, Michelle, and you're shaking their hand, that way you can also look to the audience. So it's a three-quarter cheat. You keep your shoulders open much like we are now, but your hips are sort of facing each other. That's when you actually shake hands, because what happens here is we're showing the relationship that we have with the person we're connecting with. That person is handing up. They've just introduced us, right?
Right.
So it shows that we have a relationship, we know each other, and that we have a connection. And that's what business is all about. It isn't actually about the product or service. It's about the relationship we have with others. So we want to show it the minute that we hit the stage or we begin to enter the stage.
And plus we want to be engaged with our audience right away. So and if we have our back to the audience,
there's no engagement.
There's no engagement. And then you talked to me also about when you end your presentation. So in this particular situation, so I ended, people were clapping, but I wasn't acknowledging the clapping. I was focused on, you know, the
wrapping it up,
the device I was using and putting that away kind of thing. And so you pointed out that I should.
Right, because it seems very abrupt at the end if you're like, and the end.
Have a great day.
Right, exactly. Shut the laptop, start putting away, packing away, they're clapping. Because what do? It feels awkward. But in reality, let them clap. Because they want to appreciate what it is that you just gave.
So you're saying facing?
Absolutely. And acknowledge. Thank you. Put your hand over your heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and show acknowledgement. You can say it, but we, as speakers, we want to tend not to speak over clapping.
Right.
But when the clapping dies down, you say, then, thank you very much, the pleasure was mine. And you move on, if you're going to end that way, depending on your audience. Usually it's them thanking you because you're the one that came to speak. But you wrap it up nicely that way, and then that gives a time you've really actually, it's like the credits rolling in a movie.
Yeah.
You know, the sorbet between the meal, you've ended it, and now you can end, and then you can take a moment to wrap up your laptop and get your things together, but try to give a little breathing room.
Sure, and so the key points to this is that it's not just the words and the message you're conveying with the words, it's what your body language is conveying, right?
Right, because what
So
happens...
these points are about making sure you're connected with your audience the minute you're in the room.
Right.
As opposed to the minute you're at the podium or at the microphone.
That's right. Because the minute that we're connected, then we can carry that connection that we're having with our one-on-one conversations right up to the stage. And we may get a little bit of a pearl that we can take up there. When I was talking to Sally, you know, she said, and you've got a little something, so you're on and you're already beginning your presentation before you've even hit the stage. And also too, when we are really conscious of the audience and we're savoring the moments, it means we're present. And you know, you've probably heard me say that before, how present we are is how present our presentation is. So it's really a matter of being in touch with the moment and delivering that, showing people that we really are completely available to them.
Great tips, thank you.